Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Oak Ridge swim meet, where today our Oak Ridge Wildcats will be going up against Knox West. I'm John Harris, and I'm here with
Christian Rosas Rodriguez.
It's going to be another swim meet. We haven't been on in a while since last week when we did our talk show. If you haven't watched that, make sure you do. It's a good one.
So great.
Christian, you excited?
I'm so excited. I actually have no idea where they are. I mean, as you can see, the swimming hasn't started yet, but it will start very soon.
They should be coming out in the next 5 minutes, I think I
Yeah, I
heard.
can see them. They're on the door over there to the left. I would pan the camera, but I like the same.
Your arms aren't long enough, Christian.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Wait.
For the first time this season, we are actually coming to you live from the Oak Ridge Civic Center. So this is close as a home game as we're going to get.
Yeah, it's actually really nice. We're not getting any water on us, so I mean that's amazing. And we have a little bit more space, a lot more space than before. Like we have regular chairs. Before we had to
Something
sit.
that I've been told to bring up is from left to right. The leftmost is lane 1, rightmost is lane 7. I'll be bringing that up a couple times throughout, just so confusion isn't.
Yeah, you can see in the actual shot that we have one. We have covered the little flag for lane 1, but you can tell that's lane 1. You can see lane 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can't really see 7, but you can see where they will be jumping.
We've got 13 people have come out. Swimming hasn't even started, and we already got this many people coming out. This is going to be a good meet. I can tell.
So it will be great. And this time there will be how many events? From 14 to 19.
Remember, we will not be having the relays this time.
Unfortunately, but that does mean this swim meet will go a little bit quicker.
Should be starting in a few minutes.
Yep.
Probably about a minute.
Coaches just told us the meet should be starting in about a minute. So
We will wait.
okay
a
there,
couple
Christian?
minutes. Yep. I was just checking something. Now we're good.
Oh. We're going to bring this up a couple times, but we are going to have a couple times during this meet, we are going to have some women swimmers during the men's event, and we will make sure to point that out.
Of course. But before anything does, we keep going. I would like to thank the Farrell Shop, a fine gifts and accessory store, for sponsoring this stream.
As well, I'd like to thank the Judkin Law Firm, Caring Professional Legal Services.
Thank you very much for sponsoring us, and
We cannot do this without you.
yes,
It's looking like any minute now.
it's any minute now. We're seeing they're just standing there.
Okay, and the Oak Ridge swimmers. No, it looks like all the swimmers are coming out now.
Yeah, we're getting ready.
Make sure they're still working out the horn.
Yep, it is a little bit loud.
A little bit.
A little, just a little.
And it looks like they are lining up for the first event of the night, the women's 200-meter freestyle. Okay, so from in the leftmost lanes, in lane 1 and 3 for West, in lane 1 we have Lizzie Schuler, and in lane 3 we have Virginia Downing. Now, in the rightmost lanes, lane 5 and lane 7 for Oak Ridge, in lane 5 we have Amelia Hodge, and in lane 7 we have Genevieve Crass. So, to make that easier for you, West is in the leftmost lanes, and Oak Ridge is in the rightmost lanes.
Low battery. That is amazing.
Will, yes, we did it. Looks like we are going through some difficulties. We will be back on soon. Okay, and it appears we are back on, and event 1 is quickly going.
Quickly going. Yes, it is quickly going.
Yes, it is quickly going. Sorry, we have lost track of who's in the lead here. We had a little malfunction with our tech here.
The camera just fell over. That was nice. But it does seem who is in the lead.
Canto's in the lane, but just once again, West is in lanes 1 and 3, and Oak Ridge is in lanes 5 and 7.
I might be wrong, but I think Amelia Hodge is in the lead. Is she?
It appears that way, but
But we
it looks like Lizzie Schuler is keeping it close as well for West. It does appear that Amelia Hodge for Oak Ridge is in the lead. She appears to be pulling ahead, but Lizzie Schuler is staying on her tail. And it does appear that Amelia Hodge for Oak Ridge has come in first place.
Second place, it looks like Lizzie Schuler
For West.
or West.
Once again, so sorry about that. That was just an error. I mean, hey, we made it through 3 swim meets without an error that bad, so I guess we can consider ourselves lucky. Okay, now, for this first event, or should I say, for this third event, since it is technically event 3, we will have a second heat. Okay, so for the second heat of the women's 200-meter freestyle, we're going to have 3 West swimmers and 1 Oak Ridge swimmers. Okay, for West, in lane 1, we have Lulu McNulty. In lane 3, we have Kaylee Jackson. And in lane 5, we have Carter Dickens. And in lane 2, for our only Oak Ridge swimmer, is Rachel Branham.
She will be in lane 7.
In lane 7. Thank you, Christian. So this is event 3, heat 2. Okay, now what I feel like is the first time in these meets is we're actually going to have some third heats coming up.
Oh, yeah.
This will be interesting to see because we've only had like a handful of second heats.
And it also seems that the third heat this time is still gonna have it's still
It
gonna have
actually
two
looks
swimmers
like
from
there
West.
might be a male swimmer for this second heat in lane 5. And they're off. Looks like Carter Dickens for West is taking a quick lead while the rest of the swimmers are keeping it very close. Or it did look that way, but it looks like Rachel Branham is very close on Dickens' tail. He doesn't have multiple.
Maybe he does.
Maybe he does.
Going so fast.
It does look like, wow, Dickens is in a big lead that Branham is not letting him get a landslide lead. While Rachel Branham, our only Oak Ridge swimmer, is keeping on Dickens' tail, it looks like Lulu McNulty and Kaylee Jackson for West are actually very close and on top of each other right now. Branham doing an amazing job taking second place when she is outnumbered 3-1 in this race.
They're playing very extreme. Yeah, a lot of extreme.
Okay, and as Dickens is pulled in at the finish, it is looking like Rachel Branham for Oak Ridge is really going to be pulling in here. And with this, our first event is coming to a close. And with that, the women's 200 freestyle is now concluded, and we will now be getting ready for our second event, the men's 200 freestyle. Once again, we're going to have 4 swimmers, 2 from each team. Okay, and once again, West is going to be in the leftmost lanes. For West, in lane 1, we have Max Arnold, and in lane 3, we have Preston Arnwine. Now for Oak Ridge in the rightmost lanes, in lane 5, we have Dylan Hodge, and in lane 7, we have Quentin Venata. Hey, our first men's event of the night. Okay, and it looks like they are getting ready. And they're off. Right now, it is looking like Preston Arnwine in lane 3 for West has taken a quick lead, but the rest of the swimmers are very close on his tail. It looks like Arnold in lane 1 is starting to pull ahead of Hodge in lane 5, but none of that right now is inhibiting Arnwine's lead. Looking like Hodge and Banana are right on top of each other, as Arnold is right on Arnwine's tail. It is looking like Arnwine is pulling very much ahead. As Arnwine takes a big lead, leaving Arnold to take right up on him. As for Oak Ridge swimmers, Dylan Hodge and Quentin Banana are keeping it a very close race. Hey, looks like we have 32 of you guys watching right now. Thank you so much for coming out here. Just once again, I've been told to bring it up that lane 1 is the leftmost lane and lane 7 is the rightmost lane. So the lower lanes are leftmost and the higher lanes are rightmost. And this looks like to be the conclusion of event 4, our second event, the men's 200 freestyle. And with that concluded, it's time to move on to our next event, the women's 200 meter IM. So, for West in lane 1, we have Merritt Ziemnik. And in lane 3 for West, we have Helen Knight. Now, in lane 5 and 7 for Oak Ridge, in lane 5 we have Ella Kendall, and in lane 7 we have Rosalie Wyndham. Okay, and it looks like they are setting up to go now. Just again, West is in the leftmost lanes and Oak Ridge is in the rightmost lanes. And they're off. Doesn't look like there's a real leader coming out right now. It's looking like everybody's very much on top of each other. But I guess if you had to pick a winner right now, you'd have to say it's Ella Kendall right now. Ella Kendall quickly pulling ahead, taking the lead here. The rest of the swimmers all on top of each other. Ella Kendall in the lead, but it is looking like Rosalie Wyndham in lane 7 might be closing the gap. In other news, Helen Knight in lane 3 seems to also be closing in on Ella Kendall right now. Ella Kendall's got the lead, but not by a large margin right now. Not a lot of room for mistake right now. It It is looking like a very close race. Windham right on Kendall's tail. This is a very close race between the two Oak Ridge swimmers. Ella Kendall has the wide lead. Windham right on her tail. And then we have Merritt Ziemnick in the lead on West side with Helen Knight very close on her tail. Two very close situations happening on both sides of the pool right now. And it looks like Ella Kendall pulls in for first, followed by Rosalie Windham in second. And that concludes Heat 1 of the Women's 200 IM. And we will now be setting up for the second heat, where we're only going to have two swimmers coming out this time. One from West and one from Oak Ridge. But before they get out here, I would like to thank another sponsor. I'd like to thank the Realty Center, Peggy Sells Homes. Thank you so much for advertising it for us. Or thank you so much for supporting us. Okay, so our swimmers right now for West. In lane 1, we have Izzy Rinaldi. And in lane 5 for Oak Ridge, we have Carter Valencia. You know, as I always say, with two swimmers, this is going to be a very interesting race. And they're off. It's looking like a close race right now, but from where I'm sitting, it looks like Carter Valencia is slightly pulling ahead. This is looking like a very close race. Carter Valencia's got the lead, but Izzy Rinaldi is very close on her tail. It's a close race, just like with Ella Kendall in the first hit. Carter's got the lead, but only by a slight margin. As I was saying, Carter has the lead by a slight margin, but Rinaldi is very close on her tail. And it looks like Carter Valencia has been caught up with by Rinaldi. I might even say it looks like Rinaldi might be slightly taking the lead. It is! Rinaldi's taking the lead over Valencia. Valencia had the lead for most of this race, but it looks like Rinaldi has been biding their time and is taking back the lead right here at what I might say is the end. Not too confident about that, though. And yet, no.
So
I
it's a
I
freestyle.
can't measure 200 meters. Ronaldo's got the lead right now, but Valencia could make a turnaround. Anything's possible here. If Carter's got any gas left in the tank, now it's time to boot it up. Carter's closing in, but isn't enough. And no, it looks like in the end, Ronaldo's able to come back from behind and take the lead. And that concludes Event 5, the women's 200 IM. That was a very close race, and that was a shocking come from behind for West. And we are now moving on to Event 6, the men's 200 IM, where we've only got one swimmer coming out.
Of course, and in lane 5 we have Brian Toussaint.
For Oak Ridge.
Yeah.
This will be interesting.
Yes. At least we know who's gonna win this one.
Yes.
That's that.
Okay. So as he sets up to swim, I would like to thank a couple more advertisers. Christian, I know who I want to thank. Anybody you want to thank?
I would like to thank Casey May Martin Caldwell Banker. Come see me for your real estate needs.
And
Thank you
I
for
would like to thank.
We'll thank them right after this.
He's on. Tucson taking the lead over Tucson.
But he is going really fast.
Tucson shredding the competition. Doing amazing right now. Tucson is in the lead.
And he's already done with his first.
Christian, don't back yourself into a corner here.
I don't know. But
Yeah.
yes.
No joking though, with no other swimmers, this is just going to become a time thing. This is where Fuson needs to focus on getting that good time so he can maybe get himself a state cut.
Worse.
Yes. So this is less of a race and more of a time trial.
That's still a race. You're racing against time.
But aren't we all racing against time, Christian? But like I was saying, I would like to thank Tracy J. Larrabee. Tracy J. Larrabee, CPA, personal, professional, and affordable tax services for business and individuals. And Brian Fuson pulls it in. Is it a good? Fingers crossed this will be a good enough time for a state cut, and I'm sure we will find out next week on our talk show. But as he gets out of the pool, it's time to set up for our next event, the women's 50-meter freestyle. Okay, in lanes 1 and 3 for West. In lane 1, we have Frances Hillard, and in lane 3, we have Genevieve Robinson. And Oak Ridge has lanes 5 and 7. In lane 5 for Oak Ridge, we have Sarah Cherry. And in lane 7, we have Kellyanne Corbett. Right now, looking like a really close race between Genevieve Robinson in lane 3 and Sarah Cherry in lane 5. This is a very close race. And that might have been too close to count. That was like very close. That was very close, Christian. I was not able to tell. But there is a second heat for this event. Once again, West has lanes 1 and lane 3. So in lane 1 for West, we have Alice Arnold, and in lane 3, Sydney Pendergast. Now for Oak Ridge, in lane 5, we have Claire Thornton, and in lane 7, we have Sasha Umansky. Once again, this is the women's 50-meter freestyle. Been set, and they're off. Once again, a very close race between lanes 3 and 5. That is Sydney Pendergast for West and Claire Thornton for Oak Ridge. Looking like Thornton's pulling ahead, though. And surprisingly, actually, Alice Arnold in lane 1 pulls in and gets first place. And that concludes, no, that concludes nothing. In fact, we have our first Heat 3 of the evening. In lanes 1 and 3 for West. In lane 1, we have Samantha Sazanowski, and in lane 3, Edie King. Now for Oak Ridge, in lane 5, we have Natalie Williamson, and in lane 7, Maddie Stevens. All right, this is the third heat of the night. And they're off. Right now, it is looking like Edie King is taking a real quick lead in lane 3. Already starting back. And Edie King is pulling it in first place with Samantha Sazanowski right on her tail. And with that, event 7, the women's 50-meter freestyle, is concluded, and we will now be setting up event 8, the men's 50-meter freestyle. Now in lanes 1 and 3 for West, we have in lane 1, Max Arnold. In lane 2, Tyler Jones. Now for Oak Ridge, in lane 5, we have Jared Julian, and in lane 7, Stephen Lucas. And they're getting set. And they are off. Another really close race. Okay. And once again, it is looking like West pulling them out. They are really performing good in this I-50 freestyle.
Yes.
Yes, that'd have been. Now we have a second heat coming up in lanes 1 and 3 for West. In lane 1, we have Gavin Madgett, and in lane 3, Luke Carter. Now for Oak Ridge, in lane 5, we have Israel Perkins, and in lane 7, Tyler Trotta. Looks like somebody jumped in a little bit early. Okay, resetting. Something didn't exactly look right to me with that jump off, but in the end, it is looking like Gavin Madgett in lane 1 is taking that very quick lead.
And Luke Carter very close behind.
Indeed. And that wraps up this second heat. And it's now time for another third heat. And as I mentioned earlier in the stream, we're going to have a couple events where we're going to have the women's swimmers along with the men's. And this is our first thing of that. Now for this third heat, we have all West swimmers. In lane 1, Savannah Sasanowski. In lane 3, Will Harrison. In lane 5, Zoe Beatty. And in lane 7, Cassidy Thorpe.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that is an Oak Ridge. Look,
Is it? It is.
it is. So they're not all of us. Just Will Harrison. Maybe. I can't see from here.
One dude like cannonballed in. He's keeping it close though. Will Harrison, very close right now with Zoe Beatty.
But in first place, Savannah
Sasanowski.
Sasanowski. Thank you.
Sound it out, Christian.
I can't, because then I'll butcher and then I'll feel bad.
And some good turnout for the final heat of Event 8.
But this, I think, wraps up event 8. We're next gonna jump to event number 11, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna have like a something minute break. Unless I'm just dumb and not like that. Is it? No.
Yes, I do believe we are
going to event 11.
going on a break. So, if you just have not been able, no, it does not look like we're going on a break.
That's what I just said.
Looks like we are setting up for the next event, Event 11, the Women's 100 Butterfly, where in lane 3, we have for West, Lulu McNulty. And in lane 5 for Oak Ridge, Sydney Oscan. And in lane 7 for Oak Ridge, Rachel Branham.
I didn't know we were gonna not have a break, so I
Yes,
didn't make this, but this very quickly.
Sydney Oscan taking a quick lead here. Oscan taking a lead with Branham close on her tail.
Very quickly, these are the swimmers.
And Oscan takes it in and gets first for Oak Ridge. Okay, with that, this looks to be the conclusion of the women's 100-meter butterfly.
Next will be event 12, which is the
Men's 100-meter butterfly. And it is looking like this will be another event where we will have a female swimmer swimming with the male swimmers. And that will be Sienna Jobcar from Oak Ridge in lane 3. And she will be swimming alongside in lane 5, Steven Zukoff, and in lane 7, Stephen Lucas. You know what they say, 2 wrongs might not make a right, but it's looking like 2 Stevens are going to make a Sienna in this upcoming event. I don't think Christian liked that joke very much.
it confused me a little bit.
And they're off. Voice crack. Okay, looking like Sukov in lane 5 taking that quick lead. But Lucas is right on his tail. Zukov's got the wide lead. Has a big gap between him and Lucas right now. Okay, with that, we are now setting up the women's 100-meter freestyle. Okay, in the left, we have from Knox West, Genevieve Robinson, and in lane 3, Helen Knight. Now for Oak Ridge in lane 5, we have Rosalie Windham, and in lane 7, Carter Valencia. Now, before we get started, I'd just like to thank another one of our advertisers, the Jim Henry Event Center, the perfect blend of grounds and event space. Thank you so much for helping us out. Couldn't have done it without you. And now it's time to start up event 13, the women's 100-meter freestyle. On and they're out. Another close race, but Christian, you're sitting closer over there. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's looking like Helen Knight might actually be falling behind Rosalie Wyndham.
No, Rosalie Wyndham is in the lead.
Very much in the lead, but it's looking like Helen Knight is very close behind her. But so is Carter Valencia, right behind her and right on top of Helen Knight.
But it does look like Rosalie Wyndham is going to end up in first place.
Wyndham putting some distance between herself and Helen Knight. Taking the first, and Knight gets the second, and Valencia is able to pull in third. Okay, and now for Heat 2, we have for West in lanes 1, Elisa Seeger, and in lane 3, Ann Edens. Now for Oak Ridge in lane 5, we have Claire Thornton, and in lane 7, we have Sarah Cherry. For everybody watching right now, thank you so much for coming out tonight to watch our first home meet. And they're off. Looking like another close race, but just as I'm saying that, I'm starting to notice that Elisa Seeger in lane 1 seems to be pulling ahead. Christian, you're closer. What do you see?
Actually, kind of seems like Sarah Cherry is going to take the lead. If she...
No, but it does seem like Cherry and Edens are right on Seeger's tail. This is very close. It's looking like Seeger and Cherry are head-to-head right now. Seeger's got a little gap of a lead, but one little slip-up can open the door for Cherry to jump out in front. And it looks like Seeger is able to pull out that first, and it's time for our third heat. In lane 1s and 3 from West. In lane 1, we have Sydney Pendergast, and in lane 3, we have Alice Arnold. Now, in lane 5 and 7 for Oak Ridge. In lane 5, we have Charlie Burge, and in lane 7, we have Kellyanne Corbett. And we are off.
It looks like Alice Arnold is in the lead right now.
I don't know about you, but West is tearing up the water behind them right now, leaving a very noticeable trail. But it is looking like Alice Arnold is taking that very quick lead, while the rest of the racers are right on top of each other. As Arnold takes the lead, it is looking like Pendergast and Corbett are very close on top of each other right now. Arnold pulls in for first, and this is now becoming a quick race for second between Pendergast and Corbett. And it looks like Corbett.
Corbett?
It might have been a tie.
I thought it was a tie. I couldn't really tell.
I saw Corbett pull in first. Who'd you see pull in first?
I thought it was Corbett as well, but it really looks like a tie.
Might be a tie for second there. Okay, and with that, event 13 is concluded. It's now time to move on to event 14, the men's 100-meter freestyle. Okay, in lanes 1 and 3, for Knox West. In lane 1, we have Aiden Anslick, and in lane 3, Preston Arnwine. Now for Oak Ridge, in lane 5, we have Brian Fuson, and in lane 7, Colton Lancaster. Now this is the first time we're going to see Fuson going up against competition. The first time we saw him, he was going for a time.
Yeah, he went against time, and hopefully he won.
Now we're going to see how he does when he's swimming against other swimmers. And they're off. Just as a reminder, West is in the leftmost lanes and Oak Ridge is in the rightmost lanes. Looking like Arnwine taking a quick lead, but Fuson and Ancelette are right on his tail. Looking just like the last race, we've got a very clear first place, but a not so clear second. As I say that, though, it looks like Aiden Anslick is taking the lead for second. But Fuson is right on his tail.
And Arnwine finishes in first.
And it's looking like Anslick gets second, with Fuson taking third. Okay, with Lancaster swimming in, that wraps up Heat 1, and it is time for Heat 2, where it's looking like we're going to have all West swimmers. We're going to have in lane 1, Tyler Jones. In lane 3, Gavin Madgett. And in lane 5, Savannah Sazanowski. And in lane 7, Luke Carter. And once again, this is Heat 2 of the men's 100 freestyle.
They were upside down.
And they're off. Looking like a very close race between Tyler Jones and Gavin Magid. Looking like Gavin's pulling ahead, but Tyler is right on his tail.
It does look like Tyler Jones is slightly in the lead.
Looks like you're saying, I agree with you there, Christian. It's looking like Tyler Jones is taking back over the lead from Gavin Magid. He's coming down very close to the line. Who's going to take the first, Gavin or Tyler? And it looks like Tyler pulls it out.
Just by a couple of seconds.
Just barely takes the lead there. And as our last two swimmers pull in, that concludes the men's 100 freestyle. And we are now jumping all the way to event 19. Now, event 19 is the women's 100 backstroke. Now, okay, for event 19, the women's 100 backstroke.
Yeah.
Yes. In lanes 1 and 3 for Knox West, we have in lane 1, Lizzie Schuler, and in lane 3, Izzy Rinaldi. Now, in lane 5, we have, for Oak Ridge, Ella Kendall, and in lane 7, Sasha Umansky. They're in the water, and now they are off. It is looking like Schuler is taking a quick lead in lane 1. Christian, I'm starting to think you picked the right seat to not get splashed.
My shoes are gotten a little bit wet.
And it's looking like
Ella Kendall is
in lane
the lead.
5 is catching up with Schuler. Right on top of each other. But now it does appear that Ella Kendall has taken the lead.
And Ella Kendall in first place. Well, it shortly after my.
Okay, and that concludes
Event. Oh, wait.
now as Sasha Umansky pulls in. This concludes event 19, the women's 100-meter backstroke. Good performances from all swimmers. Now, in event 20, we have the men's 100 backstroke. Now, in lane 1, for Knox West, we have Edie King. And in lane 5 and 7, we have Steven Zukoff and Quentin Venata from Oak Ridge. Lane 3 is empty. Water, and they're off.
And right now it is looking like Steven Zukoff is in first place.
Zukoff taking a quick lead. Looking like a very close race for second between Edie King and Quentin Venata, though.
And Steven Zukoff already halfway done.
He keeps hitting the siding, though. That will definitely slow him down a bit. He's got the lead, though, so he's got room for making mistakes like that. And Zukoff pulls it in and gets first. Looking like Venata very close to closing in on that second.
And Venata finishes in second place.
Yes, and now as Edie King pulls it in, we are coming up on our final 2 events of the night. The breaststroke event. First up for event 21, we have the women's 100-meter breaststroke. Now in lane 1, In 3 for Knox West. In lane 1, we have Elisa Seeger, and in lane 3, we have Merritt Ziemnik. And in lane 5 and 7 for Oak Ridge, we have in lane 5 Amelia Hodge, and in lane 7 Sydney Ozcan. And they're off. Looking like another very close race. But now it looks like only by like a slight difference that Merritt Ziemnik is pulling ahead in lane 3.
You actually can't really tell. It looks like Ziemnik
Has
and
the
Hodge.
quick lead, but Hodge is right on her tail. It is like seconds, like a second's difference between. Well, Hodge is trying to keep up with Ziemnik. It looks like Sydney is taking a bit, like a minor lead over Seeger in lane 1. This is going to come down very close to the line between Merritt and Hodge.
And coming in first is Merritt.
Merritt
And a
is able to
close
squeeze
second.
it out.
Hodge.
Okay, and with that, that concludes Heat 1 of the women's 100 breaststroke. And now we are moving on to Event 2. Now, Heat 2.
Yes.
Christian, you got to catch me on this kind of stuff.
You caught yourself. I didn't even catch you. Ow.
Okay, like I was saying before I got kind of a tongue twister. And lanes 1 and 3 for Knox West, we have Elizabeth Stambaugh, and in lane 3, Frances Hillard. Now for Oak Ridge in lanes 5 and 7, in lane 5, we have Charlie Burge, and in lane 7, Genevieve Crash. And they're off. Once again, hard to tell who's taking the lead early. Christian, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's looking like Hillard is taking a quick lead in lane 3.
Yes, she is, but just a slight lead. And they all seem like they are very close to second place.
That's what I've been seeing in a lot of these races tonight, Christian. Is you've got one swimmer coming out very close, and then the rest are right on top of each other.
They're, all the other three are just fighting for second place.
All really amazing swimmers, fighting for that second, and in some cases, maybe even coming from behind and getting that first.
But now you can see a little bit clearer that Hillard is taking the lead with
A very
Elizabeth.
major lead.
Yes, with Elizabeth being very close in second place.
Yes. And Hillard pulls it in for first, and Elizabeth Stambaugh gets second. And that concludes event 21, the women's 100-meter breaststroke.
Now to the final event of the night. Event 22, the men's 100 breaststroke.
Okay, for Knox West in lanes 1 and 3, we have Carter Dickens in lane 1 and Aiden Anslet in lane 3. Now for Oak Ridge, in lane 5, we have Dylan Hodge, and in lane 7, Jared Julian. Correct me if I'm wrong, Christian. I feel like this is the first time we're seeing Jared Julian come out tonight.
I think it is the first time. No, we saw him in event 8.
Okay, then, this is the second time we're seeing him come out.
Yes, it is. Hopefully he does great.
As always, we hope they all do great, Christian.
No, I just hope he does great. Just kidding.
Christian, you a secret Jared Julian fanboy?
Of course I am.
Of course you are.
But
Looking like Aiden Anslet taking that quick lead in lane 3.
the other three are very close.
Right on top of each other, as always. But actually, it looks like Carter Dickens is taking a close second. But the rest are right on his tail. Anslet's got that wide lead while everyone else is right on top of each other. But it is looking that Carter Dickens is pulling slightly ahead in second place.
And Aiden finishes in first, followed shortly after by Carter Dickens.
Indeed. And now, as Dylan Hodge and Jared Julians pull in, we have our final swim of the night, Heat 2. We have in lanes 1 and 3 for Knox West, Samantha Sazanowski and Sydney Pendergast. And for Oak Ridge in lane 5, Colton Lancaster. Christian is Jared Julian's #1 fanboy. How do you think he did tonight?
I think he did amazing. Absolutely perfect specimen.
I'm sure he'd be really happy to hear that.
Of course, he will hear it later. He won't even know who I am. I will just be a disembodied voice. But a disembodied voice that absolutely loves him.
Okay,
And here he is, right here.
as Christian winds down on his love letter to Jared Julian, it is time to get ready for this race, because they're off.
And
Looking like a very close, like, 3-way tie right now. And as I'm saying that, Samantha Sazanowski is pulling out ahead. Yes, Sazanowski appears to have the lead, while Pendergast has second, but Colton Lancaster is very close on her tail. Okay, and it does look like Sazanowski is able to pull out in first.
with Pendergast coming in second, and
as Lancaster wraps up his swim, he is also wrapping up this meet. And before we go, we want to thank some advertisers. I want to thank Fab5 Designs, your advertising and marketing needs. Hey, they maybe even helped us with these.
And I would like to thank East Tennessee Orthodontists. Live, smile, and inspire.
Thank you so much for coming out for another meet live from the Oak Ridge Civic Center. You have been watching the Oak Ridge Wildcats going up against the Knox West swim team. What's their mascot, Christian?
I actually don't know, but I could look it up. Here, keep talking.
Yes. Okay, we will have another swim meet next week, but if you just love hearing our voices, you can tune in next Wednesday for our talk show where we will be talking about this meet, some of our sophomore swimmers, and the next meet, which will take place a week from now right here in the Oak Ridge Civic Center.
I cannot find what their mascot is, but
Okay, so you have been watching the Oak Ridge Wildcats take on Knox West live from their home swimming pool, the Oak Ridge Civic Center. As always, I've been John Harris here with
Christian Rosas Rodriguez, and thank you very much for watching. We will see you hopefully Wednesday, sometime in the afternoon. I'm not really sure exactly when.
thank you
But
for coming out.
Thank you very much.